Hey, so I was kind of compelled to make this video from messaging one of my friends. What spurred it on was we were talking about Dauntless. And I had mentioned, oh, hey, I want to check out Dauntless. It's free. It looks like a Monster Hunter game, so it'd be right up my alley. Let me check this out. But when I had went to try and download the game to play it, I saw that it was an Epic Game Store exclusive. And that kind of turned me off on it. So I mentioned, hey, looked at Dauntless last night, requires the Epic launcher? No thanks. And my buddy replied, how are you going to hate on it because of a launcher? And my response was, well, I don't agree with the business practices and the marketing behind the Epic Game Store. And he retorted with business practices, they give developers more money and they hand out free games. Like, I don't get it. So that put me in a position of really trying to figure out why I felt the way I did about the Epic Game Store. So I'm trying to make this video. It was kind of a good exercise for me to actually figure out why I have the feelings I do, contextualize and verbalize them properly, as opposed to just having this gut reaction to it, but also maybe to give a little bit more info. My initial impression of the Epic Game Store came from the Metro Exodus launch. Now, this was a PC game that I think the first one, Metro 2033, came out in 2010, and then the second one came out in 2013, and they had like a remastered version in 2014. But the third game in the trilogy, Metro Exodus, was supposed to come out February 15th, 2019. So when it was announced that Metro, which had been buoyed by Steam's platform, which had maybe been in people's wish lists and people have been chatting about it for months and weeks and possibly even years, like with different articles announcing that it was coming and people building mods for the previous one and chatting about, oh, we're going to be able to do this on the new one. 2 weeks before the game comes out, for them to pivot at the 11th hour and say, hey, thank you for promoting all this shit, but go fuck yourself. We're actually going to be exclusive here, was a little shitty. And even Epic admitted as much at GDC later in the year, where they said, yeah, we're still going to be doing exclusives, but this was probably a little too late in the cycle, and we're going to try and be more cognizant of these deals and how they impact users and their platforms and stuff. So we're going to be more aware that we weren't aware that it was going to cause this much of an issue. But in addition to that, they also released this just super nonsensical news story that said Metro Exodus on Epic sold 2.5 times more than the previous Metro game did on Steam. And on the surface, someone could interpret that to mean, oh, all the hate regarding the Epic Game Store saying it's not going to work, no one's going to buy it on here. Well, we showed you, we actually sold 2.5 more than we did on Steam before. So this is a success all around. But the reality is, if you actually look into the numbers, they don't, like, it's an inherently flawed comparison. A game that came out 6 years after the second one, Metro Last Light, which they're talking about, you're comparing the trilogy, you're comparing the third game in a trilogy to the second one and say, yeah, the third game in our trilogy sold more than the second one. Yeah, I would fucking hope it did. Like, it would be a shame if it didn't. But the comparison of the Epic Game Store to Steam 6 years ago doesn't really, you can't like compare them like that. When people do experiments, they try and limit as many variables as possible so that you can justifiably and definitively say, okay, we gave this group a placebo and we gave this group a diet, a fat burning diet pill. Their ages were the same, their heights were the same, their weights were the same, the workouts they did were the same, their lifestyle was the same. Everything is identical between these two groups except for this one variable that we changed. So if there's a difference, we know it's related to this. But PC gaming in 2013 was vastly different than what it is now. Consoles were far and away more popular than they are currently. PCs couldn't really run Metro Last Light like they can now. It was kind of a Crisis-like game, and you're building off the success of the previous one. You're building off of the critical reception of the previous one. Each one gets bigger as more praise gets harped upon it, as, yo, if you didn't check out the previous one, you need to check this one out because they're so good. Buy the remastered one, get hyped because the new one is coming. There's so many things in the air that this news story doesn't make any sense, and it further led me to feel like, oh, okay, you guys are just like all over the place. This article doesn't mean anything. The Epics thing was shitty in the first place. Like, go fuck yourself, was kind of my feelings regarding it. Then to have the Phoenix Point thing come out. Phoenix Point was a game on Fig. It's from the developer, from the creator of XCOM, Julian Gollop, I believe. This game was on Fig 2 years ago and got a lot of money from people who believed in this guy and his vision, his ability to make a game that they wanted to play. Here's almost $1 million to make the game of your dreams, which we enjoy. And they've been releasing, backer kits and kind of alpha builds of people, and they had a pipeline of plans. Hey, we didn't reach these stretch goals, so we're not going to be able to make it, but all these stretch goals we can make. There's DLC that's going to be worked on once the game is announced. Like, it looked amazing and great. I was very excited for it. This also became an Epic exclusive. And again, doesn't have to be fair, and I understand from a monetary perspective how a developer can secure more money, and that's the right decision for them. But that doesn't negate my feelings that this is a shitty thing to do. Taking almost $1 million from your backers at the ground level, from people who believe in you and your ability to make a game, and your ability to push out backer kits, and your ability to follow through with updates and a pipeline and let people know what's going on. 2 years later to then say, okay, actually we're going to the Epic Game Store exclusively for a year, then we'll roll out to other platforms. Recognize that the Epic Game Store, on Fig, the platform that Phoenix Point was going to be released on was GOG, Steam, Linux, Mac, and then just Windows in general. Recognize that now that it's an Epic exclusive for a year, you don't get Linux support, you don't get Mac support. It's not on Steam, it's not on GOG. So for certain regions, they just can't play it. China, for instance, you can't get Epic on there. You just can't play the game, period. The people who backed it under the presumption that, okay, we'll get some version of the game on Linux or Mac, sorry, you're shit out of luck. The people who backed it specifically because, yeah, I get everything on Steam, this is my platform of choice, that's why I'm backing this game, are kind of getting thrown under the bus. Yes, they get it a year later, but that's not what they had paid for. And again, I recognize 2 years ago, Epic Game Store might have not even been a glimmer in Tim Sweeney's eye. No one knew this was going to happen. But still, right before the game goes live, the announcement that it's becoming exclusive, and you've taken all this backer money, and now there's issues of, okay, we backed for the DLC, but I'm not even going to get the base game until a year later. Why did I pay all this money? And then forcing customers, if they wanted a refund, hey, I paid for the Linux version and I'm not getting it at all. So why would I give you my money? I need a refund. Forcing the users who wanted a refund to sign up to another third party, provide their credit card info and bank info to this third party, to then have to wait up to a month to get their money back. It's just like shitty all around. The AMA they did right after they announced it was an Epic Store exclusive had got downvoted into oblivion. People aren't happy about it, and I'm trying to verbalize why I'm not happy about it. And a large reason of that is the exclusivity deal. Now, to touch on exclusives a little more, hardware exclusives I like, meaning Naughty Dog, for instance. It's a developer exclusively working with Sony. They push the PlayStation to limits no other developer can get to. You look at Uncharted, you look at Last of Us. These games look amazing. Now, whether you enjoy playing them is a different matter, but the games visually, aesthetically, sound design-wise, they are amazing. they're pushing those consoles to the breaking point because they work solely with that one developer. They're not worried about trying to achieve parity across multiple different platforms. We're just working on PlayStation architecture. We can go ham on the PlayStation architecture and try and push it as far as it can go, get every ounce of horsepower out of this machine possible. And you can see the result of that. Some amazing games come as a result of that. God of War, Last of Us. Epic Games Store announcing that they have exclusives for games that are not in development. It's not as if Epic is paying developers money to build something that otherwise wouldn't exist. It comes across as, hey, the game is virtually almost done. Okay, now we're going to take it. You're not funding new ideas. You're not funding new IPs or new things that could only work on the Epic Games Store due to the way you've set it up. It's, yeah, we're snatching up stuff, strong-arming you into downloading our launcher as it's the only place you can play the game. If Epic had come out of the gate saying something like, hey guys, if you have a PC, you have Steam installed on it. If you play games, you have Steam installed on that PC. We know Steam is virtually ubiquitous. It's across the board. We know that you've set up wish lists and profiles and communities, and you guys have your mods set up, and you work in workshops, and you got your trading cards and all that stuff. We know there's a lot of features that Steam has built up besides here's just one place where all your games are. What we've done is matched all of those, or a lot of those, and we're aggressively going to be expanding the rest of our feature set. We're matching a lot of the features that Steam has, and we're so hungry to grow our platform that we're heavily discounting the games that are available on here. We're paying the developers more money. We're giving you guys free games every week or every few weeks, and we're offering super aggressive sales to drive business here, 2-for-1 sales or whatever it may be. Give me, as the consumer, the ability to go, oh, okay, well, this is a feel-good thing now. Epic is giving more money to the developers who I want to support, especially when all the articles are coming out about developers getting worked to the bone and the overtime and stuff. I want to try and help them get paid what they should get paid. Give me every reason to use your store over Steam. Make it so that your service is better, or the customer support is better, or the layout is better, or the ease is better. Whatever it is, make it so that it's a better platform to use than Steam. And I'll gladly use it. But don't come out with this bare bones launcher, and I'll talk about the lack of features in a second, but don't come out with the bare bones launcher and the only reason to use it is because it has exclusives on it. That's just shitty. I'm not getting better service. I'm being like blackmailed into using this if I want to play the game. Otherwise, what I'm choosing to do is just, I'm not going to play them until they come out on a platform that I actually enjoy. Now, talking about the features. So Steam has been worked on for probably more than a decade, I think. And when Half-Life 2 launched and Steam first rolled out, I was in Beirut. I didn't have internet, so I had a fucking hard time getting that game in a playable state. Half-Life 2 required you to download Steam, required you to then update Steam, required you to then put the CD key in and confirm that you had bought it online and activate your account. And then I had to figure out how to go into offline mode and keep everything active just so I could play a single player game. I did not enjoy it. But over the decade that Steam's been in development, they've grown. They've built out their platform. It's no longer just like a server hub for Counter-Strike 1.5. It's grown from that to much more. It's a place where they have amazing sales. It's a place where developers can promote their game and market stuff and put news up, and people can make their own message boards and guides, and you can find communities to join and chat in and receive trading cards and use those and badges, and just there's a lot of features there. I don't really care for a lot of them. Honestly, I just want to double click the icon and play the game, and I enjoy looking through the user guides and the mods that are available in the workshop. A lot of that other stuff is kind of superfluous. But I do recognize that even if I don't care about trading cards, there's a shit ton of people that do. So I didn't expect the Epic Games Store to launch with all of those features, right? But I didn't expect it to launch with as little features as it did. I'm going to try and put the image up that I'm sure everyone's seen by now. Virtually, it's basically here's what Steam has and here's what Epic doesn't have. And it's just a huge list of things that Steam has that Epic doesn't have. But I'm going to run through it real quick. It doesn't accept third-party keys. Now, Humble Bundle, your Green Man Gaming, or any other third party that you go to buy CD keys, you can't use those on Epic. You can't buy a Humble Bundle and then verify those CD keys on Epic. I think they said they're working on that, but they're working on a lot of stuff. But right now, you can't do that. The only place to buy a key is from Epic. There's no account sharing, no achievements, no big picture, TV mode. You can't just lie on your couch and play. No cloud saving, which is a huge issue. Pair that with it's always online. If you guys remember when Xbox first announced they're having their always online console and how people really didn't like that. It's a single player game. Why the fuck do I need to be online all the time? The landscape has kind of shifted, but I'm in Austin now and I have great internet, and sometimes my internet goes out like late at night. Yeah, I just lose internet. I got to restart the router and it still doesn't come back. And then maybe a couple hours it comes back on. Forcing people to be always online sucks. Give me at least the option. I have all the files downloaded on my computer. It's not as if I'm streaming it. Like, that I've purchased the game, especially with how tight-knit your system is. Why do I need to be online to constantly verify that I've authorized this purchase or I have this account? It's baffling. There's no built-in broadcasting. Whether you use that or not, I don't know. I personally stream on Twitch. I don't stream through Steam's thing, but it is available there. There's no forums, no gifting, no groups, no inventory support, no library sorting, no marketplace item trading, no regional pricing, which means some regions pay grossly more than they did otherwise. What that also means is some regions are just locked out of downloading it at all. Like China, you can't download the Epic Games launcher in China, so you just can't play these games until a year later when they come out on the platform that you thought they were going to in the first place. No built-in screenshot tool, no streaming to other devices, no trading cards, no controller support. Dark Souls, Sekiro, Neo, there's a lot of games that benefit by having a controller. There's a lot of games that, even though I have an amazing PC here and I don't have a couch, like I stand or sit at the desk, I still want to grab a controller and play them. Driving games, I like having a controller more than WASD. You can't do that on the Epic Games launcher. No guides, no profiles, no reviews. They have a system they're working on that's opt-in for developers, which, if you think about it, completely disregards the objectivity of those reviews. If the person making the game gets to decide whether people can review their game or not, and since it's opt-in, we have to assume they have some control over those reviews, maybe which reviews get shown or not, the whole thing goes out the window. There's a great feature on Steam where you can see the review of a game over its lifetime, but you can also see the recent reviews. And the recent reviews are huge in an era where games are constantly getting patched and updated. You can look at, okay, this game was the shit, but the most recent patch that they rolled out breaks so much stuff, adds in a pay-to-win microtransaction shop. The servers are going down. Don't buy this in this state. There's a huge glitch where it's bricking PCs. I have no idea, but like, recent reviews are a great way to see, oh my God, the game came out terrible, but the developer has really been pumping out patch after patch after patch to make this game beautiful and to have it grow. And the recent reviews reflect that. 2 thumbs up, 10 out of 10, buy this game now. Didn't buy it at launch. I got it refunded at launch because it was so shitty. Now it's in a much better place. I highly recommend it. That is very useful as a consumer to have that info. To not have any reviews sucks. There's no VR support, There's no shopping cart or wish list. If you've seen that just hilarious article on Kotaku or the Reddit posts of the couple guys who had bought games during the Epic Games sale. Hey, I bought 5 games ranging from $5 to $50, and then my account got flagged. Like, I made too many purchases at once. It's just little things like that that add up, that just show objectively that the platform doesn't offer the same feature set that another platform offers. So it's not as a consumer, you get to make the choice which one you want to support. It's, you can only go here for it, and this is the only reason you would ever come here for it. And I find that anti-consumerism. You're taking away options that I otherwise should have. There's also the limited and convoluted refund system where it's a no questions asked policy. And in Steam, it truly is, as long as you play the game less than 2 hours, boom, we'll give you a refund back. For Epic, if you've seen the screenshot of the person who's requesting a refund, you have to verify the IP address that you had. You have to verify the time and date your Epic account was created. You have to verify a bunch of shit to get a refund. It's just, another thing that gets brought up, which I can't even begin to pretend that I'm knowledgeable about, but is the Tencent and the spyware stuff. Tencent also has money in Ubisoft, Blizzard, Riot, Discord. I don't know. They're in a lot of the mobile games that I have downloaded and I play on my computer. It impacts people to various amounts. How you feel about it can change. For me, honestly, I'm not knowledgeable enough about it. I don't know. I saw the post about, hey, this file is looking at your data registry. This file is looking at Steam files for some weird reason. This Epic file is digging into your Steam library and your Steam friends when you didn't say it can. I don't know if what Team Sweeney said, if it's just outdated code, if it's anti-cheat stuff that has to look at the registry to verify files. I have no idea. It doesn't really bother me, as I've kind of fully embraced the dark cyberpunk future where everything is horrible and everything's online anyway. But it is worth throwing out there. And to be fair on both sides, people talk about Epic's shitty customer service and the fact that their accounts get hacked left, right, and center, or they get emails about people trying to log in. Steam had their own issue, I think, a couple years ago around Christmas time maybe, where accounts were getting hacked, or you could pull up other people's accounts through your own. Like, each of the different platforms has their own pitfalls regarding support and technical support and safety and stuff. But basically, my big issue is that Steam has evolved over the years to be much more than just a platform to play your games on. When Twitch really blew up and got big, Steam kind of responded to that with their own broadcasting. When Discord grew up and got big, and now it's virtually like the only place you go to chat with people, Steam grew and evolved and changed a lot of their community features to try and match that. Epic offers nothing new in the landscape of PC gaming or innovation or technology and how we communicate or download games or play games. There's no, here's a great new way to patch and update games that Steam doesn't have access to. We have servers that are like right next door, so you're always going to get 14 ping in every game you play. There's nothing drawing me to that platform aside from the fact that you've taken games. You're not offering anything new for me as a user. You're clamping down on exclusives as the sole way to bring people into that platform. There's a very good quote. See if I can find it in my... Yeah, there's a very good quote that I read that perfectly sums up the way that I feel. Whatever choice you make, know that it will be nakedly transparent and no amount of spin is going to change that. It's ultimately going to be up to Epic to make the Epic launcher the best place to play a game instead of the only place you're allowed to. And I think that's from a indie developer who kind of posted this article about, hey, we need to recognize that there's more to the story than Epic giving more money to developers. Now, Epic giving more money to developers, thumbs up. Epic giving out free games, thumbs up. I just wish we had the choice to support them or not support them based on the quality of the service, as opposed to being forced to download their client in order to play games. So that's me. Again, this is not an all-encompassing thing. I don't know if I got all my facts right. This is just me personally, the way I feel regarding the Epic Store. It was more a spur of the moment thing when I was having that conversation with my friend. So if this helped you guys out, if this clarified some things, thumbs up. If it wasn't useful, hey, maybe it's at least useful to my buddy. But yeah, thank you guys for your time. This video was a lot longer than I thought it was going to be. I had a lot to say, I guess. Yeah, peace. I'll see you next time. Bye.